Hooking up for sex, the truth behind the danger. Hello, friends. Today, let's talk about a sensitive but real phenomenon in society. What are those people who hook up thinking? A few days ago, I saw a particularly eye-catching slogan on the small street of Shiefo Temple at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, if it was about a fellow villager, everyone would know who it was talking about after seeing the name. This really threw people into the streets and alleys, making people wonder in today's anti-fraud propaganda, why are there still people who are blinded by lust and have to go to hook up and put themselves in danger? Today, let's talk about this matter. First of all, I have to explain to everyone that I'm not a person with moral cleanliness. I know it is not easy to find a partner now, and everyone has their own means, so we have to look at hooking up for sex from a more humane perspective and don't preconceived lie label it with stereotypes. In my opinion, some single men and women, because they can't find a partner, are lonely and unbearable and want to get together to comfort each other. As long as they don't hurt others and can ensure safety, this behavior is not a serious crime. To put it bluntly, under the premise of satisfying safety and no harm, this is just a personal choice. However, we must also be clear that there are many hidden dangers behind this choice. Think about it, two people who don't know each other well rush to have an intimate relationship. Even if safety measures are taken, the health risks are still very high. After all, condoms are not 100% safe. Moreover, hooking up can cause death if you are not careful. Many people fall into physical and mental entanglements because of unexpected pregnancies. There are also those love-hate relationships and miserable stories caused by hooking up. They are not uncommon in reality. These are all common sequelae of hooking up. In addition, there is another possible consequence, that is, if you have too many hookups and it becomes a habit, you will find it increasingly difficult to give your heart. After all, if you have been playing the kind of game that doesn't talk about feelings, it will be really uncomfortable to suddenly change the script and talk about a serious relationship. From all aspects, I really think that to meet personal needs, you really shouldn't try such high-risk behaviors as hooking up unless you have no other choice. If you are unlucky, the price you pay may be much more severe than you think. Let's talk about another situation. When I stay in a hotel on a business trip, I often see some small cards that make people blush. Either they are directly stuffed into the cracks of the door or they are scattered all over the sidewalk. Everyone knows that the basic routine behind this is a trap. But the strange thing is that anti-fraud propaganda is so overwhelming. Why do people still fall for this? You hook up, your money is cheated, and in the end it is written on the slogan, which is very embarrassing. I think the reason is very simple. That is, the flute mentality is at work. These people are overwhelmed by desire, fantasizing about the erotic and exciting scenes in the movie, always thinking that they will be the lucky one, and what others encounter are traps, and what they encounter must be a real encounter. As a result, reality is oft uncruel, and in the end they find that they are the clown who is fooled. Knowing that this is illegal, you still have to try it. If something goes wrong, you can only blame yourself. Although lust may exist in human genes, the biggest difference between people is that some people have self-control and moral value. Faced with the same temptation, the choices made are completely different. When it comes to hooking up, once your partner finds out, it will hurt your partner too much. I have received many consultations from sisters and brothers. They found that their partner had hooked up and they were particularly entangled. If the other party sincerely repented, should they forgive? This matter is really difficult to decide. Many people can't get over this hurdle in their hearts. Even if they forgive on the surface, every time they have intimate contact with their partner in the future, they will think of the pain in their hearts, and their interest will disappear all of a sudden. Even if they continue reluctantly, it will be painful. For this situation, I always think that it depends on your own tolerance. If you really can't bear it, don't punish yourself because of other people's mistakes and tear open the wound again and again. After all, forgiveness means that you have to continue living, but continuing to live, intimate behavior is inevitable. If you really decide to forgive, you have to let it go completely and don't let this matter become a long-term nightmare in your heart. But if your partner is caught hooking up with someone for many times, I think there is really no need to hold out hope. This kind of habitual behavior is generally difficult to change. Maybe you will stop when your body is no longer able to do it, but by then, your youth and life will have been lost, which is not worth it. Once at a wing table, a male friend drank a few glasses and started talking loudly. He said that the instinct of males is to reproduce, that is, to mate with as many females as possible and possess them. From what he said, it seems that hooking up with someone is to follow the biological instinct. But he forgot that humans are higher animals, and the biggest difference from other animals is that in the process of evolution, for tens of millions of years, we have self-control. If there are such people around you, I advise you not to have any possibility of close contact with them, otherwise you will really be disgusted. In fact, the reasons behind hooking up are complicated. It may be because of the imbalance between supply and demand between men and women, which has caused some people to be suppressed for a long time. It may also be because of the emptiness in their hearts that cannot be comforted. But no matter what the reason is, even if these people are pitiful, it cannot cover up the hateful aspects of their behavior. We must understand that relying on hookups, which are inherently full of dangers and uncertainties, to save broken hearts and change dull and depressing lives is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It simply does not work. Temporary happiness is exchanged for layers of hidden dangers. If you are not careful, the price will be painful. Everyone has their own way of living. If someone is determined to go down the road of hookups, they must think clearly and don't regret it in the end. If there's really no way, just study, work, and make money steadily, and find ways to solve your needs yourself. It is better than pinning your hopes for life on such unreliable methods and unfamiliar people. Now that society is so imperious and people's hearts are unpredictable, we must eventually learn to enrich ourselves. Otherwise, lying in bed at night full of regrets, waking up in the daytime, and continuing to make mistakes, you can't live a good life. I hope everyone can learn lessons from these things. Live a good life and don't let yourself get into unnecessary trouble.